Hey everyone, I'm Jason Balin from Whipped and Beaten Culinary Works. So today we're making an extremely simple but an extremely delicious Mexican pork stew. Here's what you're gonna need. We're gonna have about 2 cloves of garlic diced, half an onion diced, about 2 carrots sliced, half a poblano pepper diced, 2 Roma tomatoes diced, and about a cup of corn niblets, and finally 2 potatoes cut into bite-sized chunks. And to make your stew, we're going to use country pork ribs. I've got about 2 pounds here, about 1 pound to 2 pounds, and they've been marinating in a half a cup of orange juice, a half a cup of pineapple juice, and 1 lime, the juice of 1 lime, with a bit of Mexican spices. A half a can of tomato paste, and then about 1 cup of white wine. And no Mexican stew is complete without your own delicious blend of Mexican spices. Now I'm using my own south of my border Mexican spice. Now if you don't have your own Mexican spice blend, what you could do is use equal parts of cumin, oregano, paprika, and chili powder, and then throw in some salt as well. And last but not least, to thicken the stew, we're going to use a corn tortilla. Okay, so the first step is to saute some of your onion and garlic. So I've got about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil in my pot already, and we're just going to pour the onion right in there, along with the garlic. What I like to do is put a little bit of pinch of your Mexican seasoning in there, so just to flavor it a little bit. Then I'm just going to saute it for about a minute until the onions get a little bit translucent. And what we're going to want to do is just sear the pork on each side. So grab your pork, place it right in the olive oil. You can do about 2 portions at a time. You don't want to crowd the pan, because then what's going to happen is that they're just going to steam as opposed to brown. So it's been about 2 minutes, and then you're just going to want to flip it to the next side so you can brown on every side. And you're going to do this with all the pork ribs that you have until they're all done. So once you've got all of your pork nice and browned, just take them out and set them aside for just about a couple minutes while you saute your vegetables. So the next step is take all your vegetables, and we're going to just throw them right into the pot. We're going to save the corn for last. With another pinch of your Mexican spices, you're going to simply just saute this for just about a minute. You start to see the potatoes brown a little bit. We're going to take our liquid. We'll start with the marinade, of the pork marinade. Pour it right in there. That cup of white wine, and then your half a can of tomato paste. And give it a good stir so everything is incorporated. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring this to a low boil. So let it sit for just a little bit, probably take about 5 minutes or so. And you can see it's starting to bubble just a little bit, coming to that slow little low boil. And so at this point we're going to add the pork right back in the pot. We're going to add this, set this to a medium-low setting, and then cover it. So we've been cooking the pork stew for about 1.5 hours now. What we're going to do is we really just want to thicken it up a little bit, as well as add our corn. And so the way we're going to thicken it up is we're going to put in that corn tortilla that I had talked about. So we're going to put the corn in there, and I like to put the corn in the last half hour just so it doesn't get really mushy. Again, to thicken it, we're just going to crumble up 1 corn tortilla. Don't put too many corn tortillas in there, because what happens is if you put more than one, it's going to get a little bit of a mushy texture. Just crumble up the tortillas so it's a little bit finer. And then what you're going to want to do is just give it 1 good stir. And then keeping it on low heat, we're going to cover it up. So we've been cooking for 2 hours now, and the pork stew is finally ready to shred and serve. What you do is just basically take the top off, give it 1 good stir. So you see you've got these big chunks of pork all over the thing. What we're going to do is we're going to shred them up. Just melts in your mouth. It is so tender and so good because it's been braising for 2 hours. My mouth is watering just picking it apart. I can't wait to have some of this. And there you go. See, all the chunks are out. Nothing left to do except for serve it. And there you go. Mexican pork stew. I'm Jason Balin from Whipped and Beaten Culinary Works.